You know, our football team can't wait to be in a position where, you know, we have our team where Janet has her soccer and football team. She talked about the grind that you have to go through. Yeah, that's what we're doing. Talk about being relentless. And she talked about, you know, having a telescope, you know, to look to see exactly where you would like to go, with that microscope to concentrate on where you are right now. As we go into Big Ten play, we have an opportunity, you know, to, you know, we haven't been over 500 in Big Ten play since we've been here. In order for that to happen, we really do have to hone in microscopically on exactly what we're doing right now. As we played, just kind of recapping last week a little bit, we made some changes. You know, you get to the bye week, kind of evaluate where you are. That's what we did. We thought just going to the secondary first off that we need, you know, change some things around. Sidney Brown, Tony Adams, Tickler, moving them into the starting lineup at both safety positions. Love what they did. You know, played hard, relentless, line around, good start. Of course, Nate Hobbs coming in, giving us a little bit of play there. He's a good football player. So kind of like some of the things we're able to do there defensively. Jamal Milan, you get, you know, our best defensive lineman back into the mix. That helped. Still some things we have to tighten up, but I feel like we can go forward with this group along with the others that we have. Defensively, we have to keep taking the ball away. We're not pleased with the total yardage. We're not pleased with some other things that we're doing, but we are pleased with the guys knowing how important it is to take the ball away for our offense. And love what our offense is doing. You know, those guys are going to talk about how many plays we left out there, but getting A.J. Bush back helped a lot. You know, to be able, you know, when your quarterback can throw the ball, but can also move the chains, you know, scrambling around, of course, gives you an awful lot. But to me, the star of the game was the offensive line. You know, they did a great job of getting our running backs to that second level, whether it's A.J. or Reggie Corbin, you know, was the captain this last game for us and played hard, as did Mike Epstein. So, love what they were able to do. Talking about our offense, O-line, of course, and the rest of the crew. You know, we realize where we are, 3-2 record right now. In order for us, again, to take steps, we have to continue. You know, what we would like to be. To me, the most important one of the most important statistics you can look at is turnover ratio. And I think we're about as good as anyone. Got to be right up there with the best of them in college football doing that. And that's about ball security and taking the ball away on the defensive side. So, did some good things from the game. Get that win just makes this game a lot bigger. Our players realize what we're playing for. Buchanan this week. Purdue have a long history with them. They're a good football team. They had a chance to watch us, sit and watch us last week. But we're excited about coming back to Memorial Stadium. Just had a chance to, you know, go on campus and talk to some of our students. Just, you know, talking to them about, everyone I talked to said they were showing up this week. We need it. We need that college energy in our stadium. But big homecoming game for us. It's always exciting when, you know, alums get a chance to come back, and we want to show them exactly where our program is right now. Take your question.
Lovie, you're third in the Big Ten in rushing. When you hired Rod Smith, did you expect him to turn around this offense that fast?
Well, you look at the history of you know, the offense that, you know, that we were looking at. We looked at Coach Smith. They ran the ball as well as anyone around. Yeah, so we were expecting to get production from it. We were, and like where we are, not satisfied by any means, but it's giving us a chance. We can run the ball. You have an opportunity, especially when you go on the road. So pleased with that.
Lovie, what do you think of Purdue and what they look like you too, especially with that offense?
You know, productive year one, and you know, another year in the system. You know, I'll talk about, you know, improvements from game week to game two, improvements from year one to year two a lot of times. So we expected them, of course, to take a step. And when you add a special player the way that they did, it's something you got to pay attention. There's a lot of different ways they can attack you. Be a big challenge for our defense this week.
The pressure maybe hasn't been as sack total as well. I know it's not all about sacks, but how do you generate more pressure moving forward? I know you like to rush forward.
Well, in an ideal world, that's the way we would like to, but you know, we'll do what we need to do to get pressure. It has been disappointing, though, the amount of pressure that we've been able to put on opponents. We have to do a better job with that. There's no way around that. We'll do what we need to do, but hopefully, you know, another week we'll get a few more guys back. But it's eventually going to get to one-on-one situations, and we need to be able to win more times than we have so far. We'll continue to work on that part of our defense.
Lovie, a number of freshmen played their 5th game. When the season started, did you anticipate that most of them would be playing and using the redshirt eligibility under this new system? Or were you looking at all of the trial period?
No, you know, as I said early on, we were going to play guys that we thought we needed to play to win. Injuries kind of dictated some of that, but we're just not in a position right now where we can start a season saying we're going to redshirt these guys. So the ones we played, we needed to. Freshmen are contributing right now. You know, I talked about some of the change. I mean, Juan Martin, should bring him up too. I mean, probably, I don't know how many freshman cornerbacks have 3 interceptions right now. So each year, some freshmen are going to play. That's just how it goes a little bit. We realize, you know, we're past that stage a little bit, and we'll just, you know, continue on.
What are you seeing out of Martin that's allowed him to have such a good start to his freshman season?
I think he has good ball skills, starting off with that. You know, it's just not, this past week, first play of the game, that was just a good play to get in position, and then you have to be able to finish the play as much as anything. But, you know, hand-eye coordination, ball skills on tip balls, of course, he's got those too. But he's still a young player. There are some things that we still need to tighten up with him, but as a freshman, like where we are with him, all of our guys, this is a time for us we need to take a big step defensively, almost to a man.
What are some of the things you want to tighten up with Martin?
Everything. You know, what does the defensive back has to do? Play the run better, get off block, you know, zone coverage, eyes. There's a lot of things. I'm going to say total play at the cornerback position. And it takes a while. As a true freshman, we're going to be saying that next year too. You just don't become a veteran, an upperclassman type cornerback right away. There's just too many situations you have to get in.
Well, Nate Hobbs had a good year last year for the freshman. Had the suspension, has worked his way back in. What progress has he shown in the last couple of weeks, especially late in that game against Rutgers?
Well, first off, he has a skill set that we're looking for at the cornerback position. Good hips. What was he? 6'10", 6'11", high jumper, great vertical. Again, ball skills. He might have been as proud, of course, when Nate got his first interception last week, so we've been on him about that. When I say good player, to consider yourself a good corner, you need to be able to intercept the football. But as good a play was that tackle on 3rd down that he made. Our corners have to be able to tackle. They have to be physical at the point of attack, and he can do that also.
Did he work his way back into your good grade? How did he handle that?
He handled it. If a guy's playing right now, they've worked themselves. We try not to give too many death sentences, but guys make mistakes. There's punishment that goes along with it, but when you come back, you come back. And that's what he's done.
What do you want to see from Will Dorsey moving forward?
Improve play. Sometimes when you don't play, Wally Pipp, right? You heard of Wally, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now who came in for Wally? Bob, who did? Lou Gehrig, right? That happens sometimes, you know. So that's why we tell the guys, you like your position. Don't let somebody else move in there, because we may like what we see from that next guy. But normally, if you're a good football player, there'll be a role for you. You may have to wait a little bit longer sometimes, but if you stay the course, it normally works itself out.
Coach, how impressed have you been with Sidney Brown starting at nickel and moving back to safety and now six tackles?
Sidney Brown, first off, you know, he was, I think, maybe signing day before signing day is when we really jumped on board with Sidney. But he's been that way since he's gotten here. Aggressive. He made plays the other day. Very pleased with what he was able to do. But he's an aggressive player. He'll hit, he'll tackle. He has good ball skills, good quickness. Got a chance to be a pretty good football player.
What did him and Tony add to that safety group that you weren't getting before?
Well, just that, not necessarily
Right.
what weren't getting before. It's just that you always are trying to get the best guys on the field. When everybody's healthy, we're able to do that. But Sidney, of course, is stronger in run support than Tony. But Tony is at, in an ideal world, we want all of our defensive backs to have corner skill, to be able to cover. And now, of course, with Sidney being a nickel, that's what he's been doing most of his career here, part of his career here. Of course, Tony Adams has been a corner for us, so it gives us a lot more flexibility in what we can do back there with these guys.
Coach, how's Reggie Corbin gone from the guy that didn't play much last year to the guy he is now?
He's, Janet talked about the grind and just being relentless. I mean, that's what he's done. Even last year, since we've been here, Bob, I can recall a play in an Iowa game last year, as good a play as you'll see. Reggie Corbin can make you miss in open field. I think Reggie's had consistent play this year, and you just have to stay the course. And eventually, if you're a good football player, you'll get an opportunity to showcase your skill. And that's what Reggie's done. Big plays by another day.
What does it say about Reggie, the way he's come back this year, when some other players, after a season like that, might not have even stepped around?
Well, I guess that would happen with some players. But I think if you're a football player, you're going to go through adversity. You have to stay the course. You have to keep grinding, just getting up, being consistently good day after day. And eventually, you're going to have positive results from it. I think most football guys, most athletes in general, know that that's the case. It's not always a perfect situation for you. And that's what we've seen from Reggie. And just not Reggie, so many of our other players too.
Does it feel like there's a monkey off the back or anything like that, just knowing that you got a Big Ten win and doesn't have that
Monkey
feeling?
off my back. I'm trying to replace all that. I know what you're saying a little bit. We need to get a win in the worst way. Rucker was in front of us, just like Purdue this week. You have to now looking at microscope on just what we need to do right now, and that's what we're doing. Big win for us, though. I mean, as I talk about an opportunity to be over 500 in Big Ten play, that's big for our guys. But as we continue to find a way to win, each game's going to get bigger and bigger. And right now, how can it get much bigger than this for us? Play a team that we have a history against, for the cannon, homecoming, just so many things are at stake. We're in pretty good shape and talk about a lot of injuries, so looking forward to the game.
You talked about how the offensive line was the MVP of the game. What did they do what do you attribute their success to and that an improvement from last year to this year?
I just think, again, we could use, they're relentless, kept grinding, showing up every day. That's what it's about, offensive line wise. I mean, they pretty much know what they're going to have to do. It's going to be a collision, a crash every down. You just have to be willing to do that, stay the course, and believe in what we're doing. System allows guys to get in decent positions to help our running backs make plays and keeping the same group together. I mean, that has to contribute to it a little bit too.
Yeah, but a guy like Jake Cerny is that sixth guy. What's he done for you coming in?
Eventually, if you keep grinding, you'll get an opportunity to play. That's where Jake comes into play. But it's still that basic core that we'll be going with.
When you looked at Tony Adams after the game, were you happy with how he performed Saturday?
Yes, I was pleased with how first time out at that position.
Right.
Thought he was in position as a free safety, but Tony has good ball skills. So, and that's what we expected from him. I'm anxious to see, we talk about from game 1 to game 2. I'm anxious to see his game 1 to game 2 improve. We think that it can be pretty good, but as we continue to talk about takeaways, free safety, just that position says, I need to be able to intercept the ball as much as anything. As I talk about the takeaway, we were pleased with the interception. We're not pleased at all by the amount of calls fumbles that we've had.
Lovie, Trenard's pass to Mike Epstein sure looked to me like a catch. What were you told at the time about why that wouldn't get
It wasn't a
reviewed?
catch. That's what I was told.
What's that?
It wasn't a catch is what I was told. No, I saw it the same way you did. And that's what I was told. We looked at it numerous times. We're 100% sure it was not a catch. But after going back and looking at it, I still make the case. Everybody probably associated with the University of Illinois thinks it's a catch. But you know, each week their play is going to go like that. Like I thought their quarterback fumbled earlier, you know, when Owen Carney hit him. But officials did a great job. Officials never really called you to win or lose a game. We got to be able to hold. Michael say he needs to hold on to that ball.
Coach, what was the reason why the ball was moved from the 2-yard line to the 5-yard line between the end of the third quarter and the start of the fourth quarter?
They said they looked at it up top, and that's where it needed to be. That's the explanation that I got from them.
So you had 4 runs of 40-plus yards.
I'm sorry?
You had 4 runs of 40-plus yards on Saturday. And just, what's may change about your offense where you're getting any of those, that big play, a little more often?
Well, a good point. And, you know, I've talked about the offensive line, and that's good to get to the second level. But in order for truly explosive plays to happen, wide receivers need to do a great job blocking downfield, and that's what we had. You know, our wideouts did that. I mean, you know, of course, everybody knows we left a couple plays out there in the passing game. But receiver-wise, if you're going to be in offense, you have corners have to tackle on defense, wide receivers have to block, and our guys did a good job of that.
Does it make you nervous to see AJ blocking?
No, we don't want him to get hurt, and I mean, it makes me nervous every time the quarterback runs. But you know, that's just a part of it. As much as anything, AJ, you know, you see him, look at him back there. He's got a little bit of bulk on him. He should be okay.
What was your evaluation of AJ this weekend, and what priorities do you think he can swing in?
I very pleased, number one. But that's how AJ's been since he's been here. You know, when you're injured, you have to stay in the game, take mental reps. He wanted to play every week. We, as coaches, had to hold him out. But he expected to come back in. As you can see, AJ, we can do a lot of things with him. Just looking from a defensive point of view, when you have a guy that can take off and run the ball like that, most times quarterback's not accounted for. And it's a shame you look at his pass stats, that they don't look better based on what really happened during the game.
What kind of problems does a receiver like Rondell Moore present to your defense?
A receiver like Rondell, he poses a lot of problems to any defense. I know he's a freshman, a true freshman, right? But I think you just look at what he's done, evaluating the player. He's as good as, pretty early to start talking to him about him this way, but he's as impressive as anybody I've seen in a while, especially a young player like that. Tough matchup carrying the ball, finding ways to get in the ball running on the jet sweeps and different things like that. But just as a matchup, man for man, he can do it all. Outstanding player. It's a big challenge for our guys this week to play against a player like that.
Beginning of the season and back at media day, you talked about wanting to see results, wanting to see improvement. Even though much of the season is left to go yet, is there a part of you that can celebrate that and say you've accomplished that?
Oh, I think we are getting better, and that's what we said. We said that before we won a game this past week. We're a better football team, and we are. We have so much farther to go, and I'm just looking forward to taking more steps this week. Again, as you watch that game, there was so much we left out there. We're not a finished product by any means, but we have an opportunity, now that we're healthy and all that, to take another step this week.
Lovie, what did Jamal Moyan add to you when you watched the film?
Just an anchor. You know, you have 300, over 315, whatever pound, big man that's athletic. He pushed the pocket a little bit. Probably played him a few more plays than we initially thought we would his first time out there. But when you have a 3 technique like that, right, in the center of your defense, he can be disruptive. And, but he's not in any type of football shape. That's why I can't wait to see him this week. We'll need him to take another step. We've talked about our D-line. We're not pleased with our D-line play, especially rushing the passer right now. And Jamal needs to lead that. Thank you.